Welcome into the Wildcat Center on the campus of Johnson & Wales University Charlotte for this afternoon's volleyball match between the Wildcats and the Tigers of Benedict College. An early start time for this one as we want to get this one out of the way before the Panthers and the Bucks kick off tonight just across the way. So we'll turn things over to our public address announcer, Chris Plano, for our starting lineups and national anthem.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Johnson & Wales University Wildcat Center as your Wildcats host the Tigers from Benedict College. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please stand and remove your hats as we honor our country and the men and women who serve it with the playing of this afternoon's national anthem. I am your public address announcer, Chris Plano, welcoming you to the Wildcat Center gym. Now for the starting lineup for this afternoon's women's volleyball match. First, for the visiting Tigers of Benedict College, a senior, Columbia, South Carolina, number 1, Vieira Harris. Southmore, Hampton, Georgia, number 2, Alaya Gomez. Southmore, Houston, Texas, number 3, Amber Scott. Freshman, Birmingham, Alabama, number 4, Jordan Reeves. A senior, Snellville, Georgia, number 5, Adriana Washington. Junior, Birmingham, Alabama, number 6, Mariah Cobbin. A freshman, Huber Heights, Ohio, number 7, Kayla Stevens. Freshman, Hepson, Georgia, number 8, Brakia Benjamin. A senior, Upper Marlboro, Maryland, number 9, Taylor Stevens. Southmore, Akoki, Maryland, number 10, Kiera Brothers. A junior, Paris, California, number 11, Deja Walton. Southmore, Birmingham, Alabama, number 13, Ashley Reeves. Southmore, Orangeburg, South Carolina, number 15, Katia Wright. A freshman, Detroit, Michigan, number 16, Kaylin Rollins. Freshman, Mobile, Alabama, number 17, June Collins. And a freshman, Houston, Texas, number 19, Camille Pete. Benedict College, head coach by Gwendolyn Rouse. She's assisted by Bianca Rouse. All right, Wildcat fans, let's get on your feet and greet your defending USCAA Women's Volleyball National Champions, your Johnson & Wales University Wildcats. A freshman, Kennesaw, Georgia, number 1, Natalie Carpenter. A senior, Waldorf, Maryland, team co-captain, number 2, Tanaya Scott. A freshman, Chardon, Ohio, number 3, Isabel Lemaster. A freshman, Paw Paw, Illinois, number 5, Riley Arose. A freshman, Maple Grove, Minnesota, number 6, Emily Ahrens. A Southmore, Taylor, South Carolina, number 7, Demaya Scott. A junior, Spring Lake, North Carolina, team co-captain, number 8, Moana Reed. A Southmore, Branchville, South Carolina, number 11, Lenasia Felder. A freshman, Chesterfield, Virginia, number 12, Caitlin Jerriman. A junior, Swansea, South Carolina, number 13, Ayana Favor. A Southmore, Boone, North Carolina, number 16, Taylor Walker. And a senior, Gastonia, North Carolina, number 18, Tiana Eason. Your Wildcats are head coached in her 10th season by Kelly Phillips. She's assisted by Markeisha Claiborne. and the team manager is Haley Miles.
All right, fans, there you have it. The starting lineups for today's match between the Wildcats and the Tigers. Johnson Wales comes into this one at 6-1 off the win on Tuesday night over Davidson County Community College. There's a 3-0 triumph there for the Wildcats. Benedict comes into this one at 1-2. They lost at North Greenville 3-0 on Tuesday night as well. These two teams split last year, each winning on their own home court. So this one should be another exciting one here this afternoon, and we're ready to get it underway. So I'll turn things over to the voice of the Wildcats, Kelly Turner, for the call of action.
All righty, here we go. 5:30 tip, Wildcats on the right side of your screen in blue. Benedict Tigers on the left side of your screen in black. Wildcats will be serving right to left. Tigers will be serving left to right on your screen. So out on the floor for your Wildcats in the white libero shirt, number 11, Lenasia Felder. Also out there on the floor, number 8, Moana Reed. Number 13, Iona Favor. Number 2, Tanaya Scott. Number 6, Emily Ahrens. And number 7, Demaya Scott. And on the floor for the Tigers in the purple libero shirt, number 2, Aaliyah Gomez. Also out there, number 1, Vieira Harris. Number 11, Deja Walton. Number 13, Ashley Reeves. Number 9, Taylor Stevens. And number 4, Jordan Reeves. So Wildcats will start this one off. Lenasia Felder back to serve. We welcome in here everyone for this 5:30 tip-off. As you said, Chuck, getting this one underway before the Panthers game starts tonight.
Give everybody a chance to see both, should they wish.
That tip out of bounds. Wildcats will get the first point.
It's a good start for both teams. That one just goes just a little bit out of play. Wildcats will take the point on that one.
That one sent to the back row. Gomez receives. On the attack is Walton in the net for another Wildcats point. Short set, unable to clear that one with Walton. And again, it's another Wildcats point. They go up 3-0 at the start of this first set.
Benedict having a little bit of trouble finding their range. This ball's being set a little bit off the net, and they're hitting them straight into the net. Last couple of side outs. There we get a double hit violation on the set. That's number 3, Amber Scott. Or excuse me, number 13, Ashley Reeves.
Felder again. They set it across for Harris. Ahrens is there for the Wildcats. Favor winds one up. One in. Stab there from Gomez.
Really good play by Gomez.
It's a long hit from Harris for another Wildcats point.
Johnson Wales looking good early in this one. Hope they continue this momentum. Knuckleball serve there from Felder.
Back row attack from Reeves. And Tigers get their first point.
Reeves able to put that one deep in the Wildcats' side in the back corner. Felder gets one arm on it but can't direct it back where any of her teammates can make a play. So Benedict's on the board, down 5-1.
Now it's Ashley Reeves with that serve. Reed sets for Favor, tips it across, couldn't get there in time. It was blocked by Harris. Got way up on that one.
Iona kind of contacted the one away from the net, didn't have a lot on it. An easy block for the Tigers.
Short hopper for Scott off the tip. Back row is Gomez. Tried to do the one-handed stab again, couldn't get it this time. Taylor Walker, Big Country checking into the game. She'll replace Emily Ahrens. Moves it to the front row right beside Scott. Moana Reed to serve. Flying in for that kill, but too far wide was Harris.
Not really sure where Harris was going for that one as it hit the railing in the bleachers. That would have been out of the basketball court.
They go across looking for Jordan Reeves that time. Wildcats were ready. Favor on the attack. Middle of the floor, Reeves has to play it over. Wildcats with it now. Reed sets, looking for Walker. Blocked immediately, got it right back. Good save. And Scott's able to play it over. And that one just wide. Again.
You were right, Kelly. It was a good save by Walker because she went for the attack and it came right back down at her. And she able to get the ball, get it up. Well, Reed took it from there as Coach Rouse is going to call a timeout. Down 8-2. We'll take it with them. Be back in 1 minute.
Back here out of the Tigers timeout, Moana Reed back to serve. Again, Wildcats serving right to left on your screen. Tigers in the black jerseys going left to right. Trying to dig that one up was Felder, but it's going to be Reeves that gets the kill. Tigers now 3 points on the board to the Wildcats 8 in this first set.
So timeout pays off for Coach Rouse as the Tigers get the side out, see what they can do with it now. Walton back to serve.
That one wide left. It's a freebie there for the Wildcats. Emily Oros checks in for Favor.
Oros saw get into a rhythm with some good serving on Tuesday night.
She picks up where she left off. Another good serve. Walker there, just over the net. Demaya Scott winds one up, that one too far.
Demaya, one of the leading attackers in all the USAA hitting percentage wise in the early season. She's gotten off to a good start in the first month here.
Short one for Walker off the block. Falls on the Wildcat side of the floor.
That one hit off the net and just fell right inside the sideline, right by the referee stand. It's a couple points in a row now for Benedict.
Across to Demaya Scott. Tigers with it now. It's Washington that plays that one over. And it was close, but it was out.
So Wildcats get the point at double up Tigers 10-5.
Two subs check in for the Wildcats. It's Isabella Master and number 18, Tiana Eason. Eason back to serve.
Eason, the senior out of Hunter Huss High School in Gastonia.
Short set tipped across, back to Oros. Walker winds one up. Tigers were ready for it. They look back to Walker, blocked. And that time it was Taylor Stevens getting the block on Taylor Walker.
Oh, Taylor on Taylor crime right there.
Tanai Scott back in. Jordan Reeves of the Tigers back to serve, left side of your screen. Coming into play now, back to Oros.
Get a Tigers player in the net there.
Yep.
So free point for the Wildcats.
Emily Ahrens back in for Walker. She'll be back to serve. Wildcats leading this first set 11-6 if you're just tuning in. Wildcats are in blue on the right side of your screen. Benedict College Tigers on the left side of your screen. Tipping that one over. Diving attempt off the net. Good save there from Scott and Reed. Keep that one alive. Quick tip there from Reed. Tigers were ready. Diving for it was Ahrens and Reed. Good effort, but couldn't get the save. It'll be a Tigers point.
Got to give a call to Scott there. Somehow keeping that one alive. Just ricocheting it off the net. And at least extending the rally for a few more seconds. Officials checking with something on the Tigers lineup. Seems to be some question about their lineup. I think we're good to go now.
So the Tigers serve. Aaliyah Gomez sends that one across. Go to Washington. Paints it right down the line between Scott and Oros for the kill.
Washington has a big windup, but when she connects, the ball is generally hit hard somewhere.
Good serve right to Oros. Reed has to play it over. Washington will try again. And again, same result and same spot.
Got to feed the hot hand.
It's a 2-point game now. Wildcats still leading 11-9. Tigers starting to get on a roll.
Good anticipation there by Oros.
Off the block, they play it right back. Good dig there from Ahrens. Scott gets it, plays it back over. Tigers with it now. They go back to Washington, the hot hand, and that one's in. Washington, 3 kills in a row for the Tigers.
She's brought them to within 1. Have to see how Coach Phillips and the defense will adjust, see if they can take Washington away.
Reed sets back to Ahrens. Has to play that one over. Tigers with it from the back row is Reeves. Right at the net, going for the block. And that was Walton for the Tigers. And we're all tied up 11-all.
Johnson Wells needs to get a side out here. Try and change the momentum. Don't let Benedict sneak in front.
LeMaster runs across the line there on the attack. Wildcats with it right back. Tip from Scott. Played off the net. What a save. And that one, they're going to call it in. Tigers point.
I think that's the right call.
Man.
The ball definitely landed in the back of the Wildcat side of the court. I think the officials were looking to see if there was anybody in the net or anything, and they said no and finally made the call. Heads up play by the Tigers on that one.
They take the lead now in this first set after the Wildcats' ferocious start to this one. Tigers come right back, and that'll stop the bleeding there. The kill from Scott. Iona Favor comes back in for Oros.
Good job by Demaya to hit it over the block. Tiger tried to get there, but was a little bit late. It deflected off of her and out of play.
That hit long by Walton. Demaya Scott back to serve, right side of your screen. Short one goes right to Gomez. And that one, I get a Wildcat in the net. That was LeMaster. Either way, it would have been a kill. And that'll be Amber Scott back to serve for the Tigers. Sends that one Right side, errant off the hands of Scott. Don't see that too often.
Rare misplay for the senior. Sure she'll recover quickly and get back into this one.
They set Favor off the block. What hands there from Ahrens and Favor. Favor again, caught him off guard. That was great effort all around by the Wildcats, specifically there, Iona Favor and Emily Ahrens.
Doing really hard work that time. 2 attacks and a save. Get the side out for the Wildcats. They tie this back up again.
Harris on the attack. Favors there for the Wildcats. They go right back to the hot hand, immediately blocked. At the net, Favor able to keep it alive. Ahrens plays it over. And 3 Wildcats dive for it, and it'll be another Tigers point. Gotta say, a sluggish start for the Tigers, but they've come roaring back here in this first set. They now have a 1-point lead. Favor tries again, blocked again, but Scott gets the kill.
Wildcats are definitely going to have to work for this one tonight. It's not going to be easy.
Taylor Walker back in for Ahrens. Moana Reed back to serve. Ooh, good setup there for Harris to put it down.
Nice little one-handed set and just in a perfect spot. And Harris knew what to do with it from there.
It'll be number 17, June Hollins, back to serve for the Tigers. Felder receives. Short one for Scott, immediately blocked. That time, number 9, Taylor Stevens, sends it right back at the Wildcats.
Benedict gets the 6'2" Stevens in there, and she sets a stone wall at the net.
Tigers with it again. They look to set Walker, blocked, and it falls in for a Tigers point. Tigers are rolling here in this first set. We're going to get a first Wildcats timeout from head coach Callie Phillips. We'll be back here in a minute. All right, back to the court. Out of the Wildcats timeout. Tigers lead by 3, 18-15. It'll be Hollins back to serve, left side of your screen for the Tigers.
1 point, the Wildcats led 10-5, so it's a 13-5 run.
Scott got the block there.
Stops that right there.
Emily Oros back in for Favor. Aaliyah Gomez checks in to replace Hollins for the Tigers. It'll be Oros back to serve for Johnson & Wales. Sends it middle. Gomez receives. Back row is Harris. Wildcats with it now. Reed looks to set Walker. Had him step back a little bit. And that one just outside the line. Adriana Washington checks back in for the Tigers to replace Scott. Short serve from Harris. Tipped over from Scott. One-handed dig there from Reeves and played back over. They look for Walker off the block. Tigers with it again. Winding that one up is Washington, but the double block there from Scott and Walker.
Good job there by the
them.
Wildcats. They were equal to the task of Washington at that point.
Tiana Eason in the game, back to serve. Harris plays that one middle. Demai Scott tips that one up. Tigers with it now. Played over from Reeves. Reed tried to catch him off guard. Eason there in the back row. Keeps it alive. And they're going to get the double on Reed. Tanai Scott back in. Tigers leading 20-17, nearing the close of this first set. Jordan Reeves to serve. Great receive there from Scott. And now off the hands of the other Scott Demaya that time, out of bounds.
Wildcats again, desperate need of a side out. Benedict's inching closer to the finish line here in set number 1.
Walker tips it up. Go to Washington. Dug from Scott. Wow, running attempt from Reed. Kept it alive. Wildcats back at it again. Demai Scott winds one up. Dug up by Gomez. And now winding up again is Washington, and puts it down.
Good
Monster
save there
swing
by the Wildcats initially, as Coach Fields is going to call a second timeout. They're down 22-17 here in game number 1. We will take a quick break and be right back with you. We are back out of the timeout. Wildcats down 22-17 to Benedict here in set number 1. Wildcats get off to a quick start, up as many as 6. But Benedict has definitely turned the tide since then. And now just 3 points away from closing this one out.
Jordan Reeves sends that one across. Reed sets for Walker. Gets the kill.
Not sure if that one surprised Taylor or what, but she kind of just fell a little backwards, got enough on it just to get it over the block, and got the kill anyway.
Aarons replaces Walker, now back to serve. Received by Gomez. They look for Washington again off the tip. Oros is there. And that one off the hands of Scott, back across out of bounds for a Tigers point. They're now 2 points away from taking this first set. They lead 23-18. Deja Walton checks in for Hollins. And Gomez back to serve now. Received by Scott. Reed looks to set Lemaster, tipped up and over, and gets the kill.
Isabel saw the block was there and decided to go with the tip, and it works out for her. She kind of caught the Tigers by surprise.
Favor checks in. Demai Scott now back to serve. Blocked by LeMaster and Reed.
Saved by the
to keep it
Tigers.
alive there. They look for Favor, middle of the court, and that's a kill for the Wildcats.
First time Favor's been involved in a while, so Reed decides to go in that direction, and it works out with the kill. Johnson Wells trying to claw back into this one.
Able to gather themselves and get it back over. And Reed tried to catch him off guard, but it was Harris that was there to dig that one up. Diving attempt from Favor, just out the reach of the outstretched arms. And Tigers now opportunity for set point here. As Amber Scott will be back to serve. Reed sets LeMaster. That'd be a double on Reeves. Wildcats point. Felder back in.
LeMaster had a lot of mustard on that one. And it works out with the kill for the Wildcats. Still hanging around here, down by 3.
Felder sends that one middle. Gomez receives. Quick tip. Favors there. They go right back to her. Just out of bounds. Benedict College will take the first set, 25-21. We'll be back here in a little bit with second set action. Don't go anywhere.
And we are back here ready for set number 2 as Benedict takes the first set, 25-21 over Johnson & Wales. So Wildcats will look to even this one up here in set number 2. Wildcats going with their original starters. Scott, Reed, Felder, Ahrens, and Favor.
You think Scott and Scott could be a law firm? So the Tigers start this second set. And, oh, can they get to it? Oh, man. It's a good effort initially from Felder. Favor had a chance, but that would have been a tough one to get across. So Tigers open up this second set with a point.
I think there's a little bit of miscommunication there between Demaya Scott and Ahrens as to who was going to take that one.
And hits across the net, goes right in front of Ahrens for the ace. That time Scott receives, tipped over from Reed. Off the block and in play, and be another Tigers point.
So it's Benedict off to the quick start here in game number 2. It says the Wildcats were off to the quick start in game number 1.
And again, Wildcats having trouble.
I think that ball was going to be long, but Demaya Scott played it anyway, 4-0, and Coach Phillips going to call a quick timeout, and we'll take it with him.
All right, so back here out of the Wildcats timeout, they find themselves in a hole early in this second set. Amber Scott to serve, right side of your screen now for the Tigers. They go across to Scott. Tigers were ready for it on the back row. And miscommunication there ends up in a Wildcats point.
They were ready for it initially, but then after the second pass, everyone just kind of stood around. So Wildcats will take that, get on the board.
Taylor Scott in for Ahrens. Milana Reed back to serve. On the windup was Harris, played up by Reed. They set for Walker, tipped across, and gets the kill.
Really nice set from Demaya Scott from about 2/3 of the way back in the court there, and Taylor able to put it away off the block.
Right at the net, they set for Favor, but not before Reed is called with a double. Ashley Reeves back to serve. Reed sets, they go to Walker again for the tip. Gomez keeps it alive in play, and Scott sends it back over. They look across the line there, that time wasn't there, and Tigers get called with the lift. Emily Oros checks in. She'll replace Favor.
These officials are calling the lifts tight, but they're calling it both ways, so I think the coaches will live with that.
Good serve from Oros, right to Gomez. Too much heat on that time from Walton.
Wildcats slowly creeping back into this one. They've gotten it within one at 5-4.
That's an ace for Oros.
That time confusion on the Tigers' end as two players let that one go right between each one of them.
Morris tries the same spot again. This time received from Gomez. Played over from Reeves. One-handed set there for Scott. Puts it down. Showtime.
One-handed set seemed to be the way to go. Both teams have scored off the one-handed sets so far tonight.
That served just a little bit long from Oros.
That one drifted on her a little bit.
Hollins checks in. She'll be back to serve right side of your screen for Benedict. Maya Scott on the run. Gets it off the block. Gives it right back to the Tigers. They set for Walker off the block. Tigers with it still. Bumped across from Reeves. They go across to Demaya Scott, blocked immediately, but sends it right back over. We got a good little rally here, right at the net. And that'll be a double on Scott. It went off her hand, then her elbow. And she tried to get that one over the net.
Good rally there by the Wildcats to keep that one alive for as long as they did. It's kind of unfortunate they weren't able to get the side out.
And that one too long from Hollins. Tiana Eason and Isabella Master check in for the Wildcats. They replace Scott and Felder. Gomez back in for the Tigers. It'll be Eason back to serve. Scott plays that one across. Short set, and that's a kill for Ashley Reeves.
Reeves is a big weapon in the middle of that lineup for the Tigers. Kind of surprising they don't go to her more often.
That's Harris, sends that one across, received by Oros. Reed looks across for Demaya Scott. Good eye from Reeves. Straight out of the matrix. Dodged that one and let it go out of bounds. Benedict now up 2, 9-7. In the second set again, Benedict College took the first set 25-21. Short set for Walker, immediately blocked. Right back into play for the Tigers' point. Running forward was Reed. Played over by Scott. Short set for Harris. Off the block, out of bounds. Tigers starting to roll here in the second set.
St. Benedict started quickly, allowed Johnson and Wells to regain the lead, but now Benedict starting to inch it back out again, up by 4. Still plenty of time for the Wildcats to come back in this one. They'll take some assistance from the Benedict.
Aarons checks in for Walker. She'll be back to serve for the Wildcats. Two Benedict players there. Quick tip from Reed. They go right back at him. It's set across for Demaya Scott. Played up and across. Demaya Scott with the tip. Dug up by number 5 Washington, and that one hit just outside the line.
Nice rally win there for the Wildcats. They were hustling the whole way. Scott, both Scotts, Reed in particular. Another good serve by Ahrens.
And that hit by Gomez out of bounds.
She forces the mistake by the Tigers. So Wildcats aren't going to go quietly.
They look to set Lemaster, and that one didn't clear the net. That'll be 4 hits. Jordan Reeves now to serve for the Tigers. Good serve right at the net. Immediately put down by Stevens.
Scott had to make a running, sliding pass at that one and put it right where Stevens could make the kill.
Right at the net again. Via Wildcats point as Stevens.
They say Stevens
over.
played over as Reed was still trying to make a play on that one. Good call by the officials there.
Demaya Scott now back to serve. Middle of the floor received by Harris. Winding that one up as Washington gets the kill. Washington having herself a game here at the Wildcat Center. Deja Walton back in. It'll be Gomez back to serve for Benedict. They lead by 3 now, 14-11, midway through this second set. They set across for Favor. Back to Washington. Man! Woo! Washington on fire.
So if she gets that right arm warmed up, can take a big swing. It's going to be tough to deal with.
Scott receives. They send Lemaster off the block for the kill.
So Lemaster answers for the Wildcats. They'll get Felder back in the serve.
That one right between Scott and Felder. That's a kill for Walton.
Just perfect placement on that one by Walton.
Amber Scott checks in for Washington. She'll be back to serve now. Scott plays that one in just outside the line. That was close, but referees call it out, and I believe that's the right call. And we're going to get a Wildcats timeout. We'll take it with them and be back here in a minute.
So we're back here, 17-12, Benedict up in game number 2. They also took game number 1, 25-21. Out of the Wildcats timeout, they'll come back with Scott, Felder, Reed, Ahrens, and Favor.
So speaking of Scott, it'll be Amber Scott for Benedict College to serve. Winding on that one was Harris. Dug up from Favor, trying to keep it alive. Reed couldn't get to it. Benedict now up by 6.
Good hustle by the Wildcats, just unable to keep that one in play. Just getting late early here in the second one.
Right at the net and put down quickly by Walton.
Johnson Wells got to do a better job of getting their passes into Reed's hands. A lot of times their passes are going too close to the nets, and they're becoming easy kills for the Tigers.
Great play there from Aarons. Scott tips it over. Dug up from Scott. Tipped over from Harris. Wildcats with it now. They look for Favor on the attack, and just wide. Wildcats struggling here in the second set. Played middle by Scott. Reed sets for Favor. Off the net, kept alive. Quick tip there from Reed. Tigers were prepared. Harris plays it across. Tanaya Scott down the line. Good recovery from Gomez, but they get the double on Harris. So Wildcats point.
Double on that one for Benedict, but you have to give the Tigers credit. They're getting to virtually every ball that the Wildcats send over the net. Switch out of the ball here. I think that one had a little perspiration on it.
And miss hit there that time from Walton. That serve too long from Reed. It's a freebie nearing the end of the second set for the Tigers. Not really what you want to see. 2 subs coming in for Benedict College. It's number 7, Kayla Stevens, and number 15, Katia Wright. And it'll be Wright back to serve.
So it's 21-14 for the guest. That is not the score we want to see over at Bank of America Stadium later on tonight.
Well, unless you're not a Panthers fan. And that hit just wide.
Are there such a thing as non-Panther fans?
Are there such a thing as real Panthers fans? North Carolina is a transplant state. Tanaya Scott tips it right, keeps it alive, and it's going to be sent back over. Oh, nope. Too early on that one. Gomez hit it right to the up ref. Emily Oros checks in for Favor. She'll be back to serve. Received by Gomez, right. Short set for Harris. They look across for Aarons. Off the hands of Oros. Tigers point. They're now 2 points away now from taking the second set.
Good block there by the Tigers. As Aarons had a good swing on that one.
Serve from Hollins, receive from Felder. DeMai Scott on the attack. Great dig from Wright, able to keep it alive. And Scott's able to play it over. Trying to keep it on her side was Reed.
Again, the passing cost the Wildcats there. There's a poor pass, Reed not able to get anything on it to save it. And it ends up as a kill for Benedict.
Set point here for Benedict. And Scott has to go around Reed, somehow still played it over. That one out of bounds. Good eye from Aarons, lets it go. LeMaster checks in for Felder. Eason back in as well for Scott. It'll be Eason to serve. Tigers looking to close out this second set. Wildcats with it now. Aarons has to play it back over. Short set from Reeves, played up from Lemaster and sent over from Aarons. Wow, one-handed stab there from Harris. Demaya Scott on the back row there. Gomez diving for it. Wright plays it over. We got a good rally here on what could be the set point. Aarons, too long. Was there a tip?
Yes, there is a tip, so
Yep.
Wildcats going to get that point. Good eye by line judge Weeb Isaac down there. Down official also have it. Officials have on different shirts today. I don't know if I've ever seen that in a match.
And you don't see that often from Easton. She gives it right away. And Benedict College will take the second set 25-17 after taking the first set. They now lead 2-0. We'll be back here in 3 minutes with the third set. Wildcat fans, if you're tuning in, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Turn your notifications on. That way you know when we're live with your JWU Athletic Sports.
All right, we're back here ready for set number 3 as Benedict leads 2-0 over the Wildcats. So do or die time. Wildcats got to win this one if they want to force a fourth set, or else Benedict will be back on I-77 to Columbia with a victory. So Wildcats will get the serve to start.
So Wildcats now in blue on the right side of your screen. Benedict College in black on the left side of your screen. That was Felder to serve. Tigers with it now. Short set, tipped across. Wildcats were there. Short set for Tanaya Scott. In the back row is Gomez for the dig. Now Walton on the attack. Rising up is Favor. Gets the kill off the tip.
Good job by Favor. Hitting over to block to the empty part of the court.
Short serve from Felder, right at the net, tipped up. And they're going to get Wildcat in the net. That was Favor. Ashley Reeves Now to serve for the Tigers. Plays that one middle, received by Scott. Tanaya Scott gets the kill.
One of the really good swings that Scott's had tonight. She hasn't really gotten going yet this evening. Hopefully that'll be a catalyst for her.
Walker checks in for Aarons. Reed back to serve. Harris on the tip, diving for it was Walker. Tigers point.
That was a misplay there a little bit by the Tigers, but they were able to hang in the air and direct it back over the net. Wildcats couldn't catch up to it.
Reed sets from her knees, just crossing the tape from Walker. One-handed tip, and they're going to get the lift on Reed. Tanaya Scott not happy with it, but Holland sends that serve over. Felder receives. Walker with the tip. Tigers have it now. They look across for Harris. Good kill there.
Harris bringing the thunder that time with that swing.
For Benedict College, ever since coming back in that first set, they've had the momentum the rest of the way. And you heard the hit on that one, but that one too far. Too much pepper on that one. Gomez back in for Hollins. Oros checks in for Favor. Oros back to serve now for Blue. Oros turns the favor.
Wildcats not in a position to be giving away free points. Got to make everything count from here on out.
So Washington checks in for Scott for Benedict College. Washington, who led that comeback in the first set, has had herself a game here tonight. Off the block, Tanaya Scott gets the kill. LeMaster checks in for Felder. Eason in for Scott. Eason now back to serve. We got a wet spot on the floor before anything happens here. Down ref comes over to check on it. So Wildcats down one early in this third set. Serve from Eason. Reeves on the attack. That one long. Tied 5-all now. Wildcats need this third set to stay alive here. Diving for it was Reed.
Now we got a wet spot.
Another wet spot on the floor, yeah.
Wildcat side. Brief stoppage will let us remind you that we're on the air 4:40 on Saturday for soccer doubleheader men against Piedmont International. Kickoff at 4:45, and then the women go against Wake Tech at 7. So join us for that one out at Ortho Carolina Sportsplex, and we'll have it on the Wildcat Sports Network as well. Volleyball's on the road next week, so they won't be back at home until a week from Tuesday as Sandhills Community College pays a visit.
Serve receive from Scott. They look for Walker with the tip. What a dig there from Harris. Tough angle, they play it back over. Look across for Washington. And again, man, Washington having herself a game here tonight.
Washington, and you mentioned Harris on the dig there. Those are the two keys. Just Benedict getting to every ball the Wildcats put over the net, and then Washington being the hammer on the offensive end.
Tanaya Scott looking for that back line, not there. Jordan Reese sends that one across. Walker on the attack, off the block. Kept alive by Harris again. As you just mentioned, Chuck, Harrison, Washington, two main cogs here for Benedict College. They go to Washington, and it's another kill.
Wildcats able to get a block off of that one for Washington, but just in front of Oros as she was diving to try and get that one up.
And that was a tip there, so it wasn't 4 hits. Washington, that time, just a bit long. Center court on that back line, that is her spot all night. That time, just a little too strong. Aaron's back in for Walker, now back to serve. Wildcats down by 3. Still early in this third set. A lot of volleyball left to play. Get Tiger player in the net. It's Washington. Short set. Stevens couldn't get enough on it.
I think that one had Stevens a little bit further away from the net than she would like.
Short serve from Ahrens. Stevens will try again. This time a success. Got the kill there.
That one more in her wheelhouse, and she's able to put it away.
Gomez now back to serve for Benedict. Plays it middle, received by Scott. Demaya Scott on the attack, gets the kill. Wildcats are going to get favor back in the game for Oros. Demaya Scott now back to serve. Short set for Washington, had to reach back for it. Wildcats with it now. Scott tips it across. Short one from Harris, diving attempt from Reed, out of bounds.
Good attempt by Moana, just couldn't keep that one in play. She was able to get it over the net, but it sailed wide.
Another wet spot on the floor. Amber Scott for the Tigers back to serve now. Still up by 2, 11-9. They look for the master down the line, not there. Reed sets, they go for favor. Off the block, falls to the floor for the Wildcats point.
Diana right there to put a good swing on the ball, get the Wildcats the side out. They're just kind of hanging around here this time. Only down by 2.
Felder with the serve, just checked in. Off the block, diving for it was Favor. Tipped over from Reed. Favor on the attack. Maybe a Wildcats point.
So 2 in a row for Favor, 2 in a row for Johnson and Wales. And that'll be a timeout for Coach Rouse and Benedict. So we'll take it with them and be back in about a minute. So Coach Gwendolyn Rouse called timeout there. Only used about 20 seconds of the timeout to talk to her team. Whatever she said, it was short and sweet and to the point, and they were back out and ready to play.
Felder sends it over. Tigers with it now. Reed goes for the kill, not there. Tigers get the point out of their timeout. Ashley Reeves to serve. Tanai Scott on the tip. Dug up there from Harris. Going to get Tanai Scott in the net. Sent right side at the net. Reed keeps it in for Scott. And that one just long.
Good set there by Reed as she was able to save that one. But Tanaya just pushed it a little long.
Quick tip from Reed, caught him off guard. Taylor Walker checks in for Aarons. It'll be Reed back to serve.
Moana's played a lot of second ball overs tonight. I think that's the first one it's actually worked out for her.
Short set for Harris on the tip. Walker's there. 50-50 ball. Quickly put down by Scott.
You're right, Kelly. That was a 50-50 ball, and Tanaya just rose up and won that one.
On the attack was Reeves. Got the kill. Taylor Stevens and June Hollins back in for the Tigers. They still lead by 3, 16-13 midway through this third set, leading 2 sets to none here on the Wildcats' home court. Reaching back, playing that one over was Reeves. Off the block, Tigers still with it, but it'll be a Wildcats point. They had Reeves in the net. Oros checks in for Favor. She'll be back to serve. They go across. Great dig there from Oros. Off the tape. Nearly a pancake from Gomez, but one hopped it, and it'll be Wildcats point. Off the hands of Gomez. Not going to get to that one.
And so Oros got the kill and the ace, and they were all tied up here, 16 apiece. Johnson Wells not going silently into the night.
And Oros gives away a freebie right there. Harris back to serve. Receive middle from Felder. Tanai Scott with the tip. Play across from Reeves. Good save from Felder. They look for Washington. Good block from Scott and Walker.
So Wildcats equal to the task of Washington that time. And they get the point.
Tiana Eason now back to serve for the Wildcats. LeMaster back in as well. Washington winds one up. And they're going to call a tip. Tigers point.
Good call there. That ball tipped off of Walker, I believe.
Tanai Scott back in. Jordan Reeves back to serve. Left side of your screen for Benedict. Received by Scott. Reed sets for Demaya Scott. Immediately blocked. That time it was Ashley Reeves.
All the Wildcats had collapsed to the net. No one there to clean that one up.
And mishit there from the Wildcats. Tigers now up by 3. We'll get a Wildcat timeout. And we'll be back in a minute for the finale of this third set.
All right, so we're back out of timeout. 2017, Benedict leads here. They're up 2-0. So Wildcats got to pull this one out.
Short set for Walker. Looking for that back corner, just too long. Had a good play set up there, just couldn't execute. Jordan Reeves back to serve. Off the tape, good eye from Walker. Had a running to it was Scott. Good play there, but they get a lift on the Tigers. Wildcats point. Aarons checks in for Walker. She'll be back to serve.
Coach Rouse, I think, claiming that the ball was outside the antenna when it passed over the net.
Another 50-50 ball, but they're going to get LeMaster over the net. Maybe Gomez back to serve for Benedict. Now leading 22-18, nearing the close of this third set. Wildcats got to show some life here and stay alive. That one out.
So they get a little help from the Tigers there as the overpass led to an attack opportunity, but it went long.
Demaya Scott back to serve. Favor just checked in. 2 subs for the Tigers. Number 19, Camille Pete, and number 15, Kataya Wright just checked in the game. Wright sets. Washington winds one up. Washington looking to close this one out here. She'll sub out for Amber Scott. Now 2 points away from the sweep. But before we get that play going, we're going to get a Wildcat timeout. All right, here we are, third set. Benedict with a 2-set lead, looking to close it out here on the Wildcats' home court. They'll have serve. Amber Scott set to send it over, leading 23-19. Quick tip from Reed, out of bounds. Match point here for the Tigers. Receive from Aarons. Reed sets, another 50-50 put down from right. Out of bounds. That'll do it here at the Wildcat Center gym. Benedict comes into Charlotte, takes over to Wildcat Center gym, gets the sweep.
Yeah, much you can say about that one. Benedict clearly outplayed the Wildcats here tonight. So they will head back to Columbia with the win. Again, reminder, we'll be back on the air Saturday afternoon, 4:45 for men's soccer, and followed by 7 o'clock women's soccer. Until then, this is Chuck Charles signing off for the voice of the Wildcats, Kelly Turner. We will see you down the road.